not the result you wanted, but did you show in the final 10 minutes of the game just what problems you can cause the best teams in the Premier League?
Well, yeah, you could say that. You could look at it that way, but I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't disappointed with certain elements of our game in the first half. I thought structurally we were fine. We knew that, or we accepted that it was highly likely that Arsenal were going to dominate the game and we're going to have possession and territory and all that sort of stuff, and there's no shame in that. And structurally, I thought we were good. Where I didn't quite like us was obviously on the goals. I felt that we should have defended their moments much better than what we did. I know they're brilliant finishes, and that'll be the talking points, and rightly so. But we've got to look at it from our point of view. And I just didn't love how we didn't back ourselves in the duels, really, and the sort of combat of the game, and that's something we shouldn't be questioning in the first half. I showed some of the clips to the lads half time, just going, come on guys, you have to get up the ball a bit quicker, and you have to fight and compete and just believe and back ourselves a little bit more. The reality is, Arsenal were brilliant, and they are, and it's such a tough place to come, but the real chance from open play in the first half was Brennan's. And the 2 goals we've conceded, we're not defending second phase of corners well enough, and that can't happen and shouldn't happen. I'm not saying that we deserve to win or anything like that. I'm not. But what I am saying is that the plan was sort of going to plan in terms of trying to get them counter-attacks, but we just needed to compete a bit more to get them counter-attacks on the duels, and we didn't. Second half, we did up it a little bit. You could see that there was a bit more press, and the game was played in Arsenal's half a little bit more. Scored a great goal ourselves from counter-attack with Anthony and T, and it's then what if. So we're feeling like it's a game of what might have been, but at the same time we should take a bit of belief from it, because that's what we need to compete at this level.
We've been told that you weren't happy, particularly with one decision late on in that second half, and you went and spoke to the referees about it. What can you tell us? What did they tell you? Well,
no, I didn't. No, I spoke to the referee. I think that. Listen, we're not going to cry about it. I'm just really surprised that the Declan Rice handball on Willy Bolly wasn't at least checked on VAR. I think VAR have let Michael down there. No way he could see it. But it's definitely worth a check, and it's definitely worth a look at. Listen, it'll be debated, and maybe some will say yes, some will say no. But from our point of view, we're just surprised, especially with us being away from home and things like that, that it wasn't looked at. So it'll be interesting to see what VAR think about it. For me, they let the ref down.
You mentioned the impact that Elanga and Onyu had when they came on in that game. Are they 2 players you hope can start the Sheffield United home match?
Well, that's where we are at the moment. I mean, Aina's not up to speed for 90 minutes. Brennan's only been back a couple of weeks, so he can't really play 90 at the moment. T, come on, he's only got 20 minutes in him. Anthony's a little bit different. He's been with us. He's a young player that we're going to grow into our model. So yeah, we really need a bit more time. Musa Nakati was on the bench today. He's not going to be ready for 90 minutes today. He might have been able to give us 10, 15 minutes. So there's a bit of catching up really in some of the guys. They had a bit of an unfortunate pre-season, but the hope is we get people back and they get fit and we have good competition for places.
Steve, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, just on that Declan Rice handball that Steve Cooper was talking about, we're hearing that apparently the VAR couldn't intervene in that case because of the proximity, that it was headed onto his hand. And we're all being told as well that they want this very high threshold for intervening in the game, so it is just for the out-and-out howlers. Do you think that met it, or do you think Cooper's right and they should have looked at it?
Yeah, I understand his frustrations. I think it still leads to grey areas with these rules with VAR. I think a lot of people, I think they'll be 50-50. Some people will be saying, listen, that should have been looked at definitely and scrutinised, and some would say, listen, stick to the letter of the law and move on. But if you're a Forest player, you're probably sitting there scratching and thinking, you know what, it'd have been nice if they'd have looked at that for us, and we might have had a chance to get 3 points.
Your first reaction was
penalty,
to think it was a penalty?
I did think. I always look at it as if I was on the pitch. Yeah. If it had been given against me, I would have been disappointed, but I couldn't have really shouted too loud. And if I was a Forest player, I would have been screaming loud for a penalty.
Absolutely. Well, Forest fans weren't feeling, I don't think, too optimistic after pre-season, especially some of the results they had. How do you think they're feeling now after that performance?
I think they'll got frustrated because they've lost, firstly, but I think there's enough signs, particularly with the lads who come off the bench, that they'll be looking forward to getting back to the City ground and really getting involved in the atmosphere and getting behind this team, because this team will, if they fight like they did in the last 20-30 minutes, they'll be all right, but they need to keep that intensity up and win their duels, like Steve Cooper said.
Well, thanks for now, guys. Don't go anywhere, though, because when we come back, we will have extra time for you from